this is Mark from Orchid. I'm going to talk for a minute about guitar influences and how my early influences led me to the way I play today, and what you're going to hear on the Mouths of Madness album that's coming out next month on Nuclear Blast Records. I started playing guitar in 1981, and that was the same year that Ozzy's first solo album, Blizzard of Oz, came out, and I was really fascinated with Randy Rhoads and his style of playing. It seemed like something I hadn't heard before, and it was a little bit different than all the rock that I'd heard through the 70s and up until that point. So that made me really want to get into electric guitar and try to learn how to play that kind of style, which I never actually really learned very well. But from there I got into a lot of the other bands that were big at the time, like Scorpions, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Michael Schenker was a huge influence on me when I was young. I always loved his work with UFO and on the Scorpions albums that he played on, and tried to cop that style when I could. Also, I was a big fan of Ritchie Blackmore, and not necessarily Deep Purple, which I got into later, but he was in Rainbow in those days, and I was a big fan of a couple albums that they had that were out at the time. So on Mouths of Madness, you'll see that most of the lead work is blues-based style, and I kind of attribute that to being really heavily influenced by Jimmy Page, which I got into a few years after I'd been playing, and I went back and really got deep into Led Zeppelin. And I think my main influence as far as what I do today really comes from being heavily into Jimmy Page and trying to capture the same kind of feel that he captured a lot in Led Zeppelin. Later on, discovered Tony Iommi and his work with Sabbath. When I first started playing guitar, it wasn't that version of Sabbath, it was Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. So I didn't really go back and get into the early Sabbath albums until I was a little bit older, and kind of discovered that style and really dug into that. And I think, you know, obviously you hear a lot of that on the album as well. But I think if you dig deeper and give it a listen, you're going to hear all those guys that I've talked about, you know. I think maybe you'll hear some Michael Schenker in there. If you listen hard enough, you might hear a little bit of Randy Rhoads in there now and then. A lot of Jimmy Page, and kind of all comes out sounding like we sound. So hope you get a chance to check out the new album. We're excited to have everybody hear it, and cheers. Hope you like it.